In this presentation, we're going to be going over how to take your sales process to the next step by setting up automation rules. Just some of the things we're going to be going over today. We'll go over the basics of what an automation rule is in the CRM, some of the foundations of where it came out of and how you can build it out and what you need to think about when going into it. And then we'll go into specific types of automation rules that we have in the CRM. So we have auto assignment rules. So that's auto-assigning different records that come into your system to specific sales reps or users. Then we have approval processes. So this is where you can create checks and balances in your database so that everyone has full visibility of what's going on. And then out of that, you also have custom-built workflow rules that you can create as well. So in any other circumstances. And from there, we'll also explain time-based actions as well, and then on to macros. So let's go over the basics real quick. Just another question for you guys. What's a good reason to use an automation rule? One of the biggest reasons is actually to reduce manual effort. So the amount of time it takes to enter new data into the system, maybe do the same tasks that you might be doing over and over again, maybe sending the same emails, creating the same follow-up reminders for yourselves or any other users. And it prevents people from making mistakes as well, since everything is going to be so automated in the process. You can also improve the efficiency behind everything and save a lot of time and save on your operating costs with everyone entering data into the system, and they could just focus on their leads and contacts rather than entering data all the time. So let's go into specifics on just one primal example here. Let's just take the same example that we were using in my previous presentation, a car dealership. So you have new leads that come into the system. You automatically want to assign it to reps, right? From that type of system, you can have a way of creating follow-up actions to happen after the new leads come in and they're assigned to a sales rep. After that happens, maybe there's a discount that needs to get added in, or maybe there's a negotiated price that you want to add into the system. You can also make an approval on that specific deal as well. So we'll go into specifics on how that works and everything. The four main words or this phrase that you need to remember whenever building out a workflow rule or an automation process in the CRM is if this, then that. So if any specific circumstance happens in the CRM, if any change is made or any new record is created, then something happens. Always remember that when creating a workflow rule or an automation process. So let's go first into auto assignment rules. What are they specifically? So we have an auto assignment rule is basically a way to, whenever new leads come into your system or new contacts or accounts, you can automatically delegate them to a specific sales rep or person in your CRM. So this way you can automatically delegate who is responsible for what based on a specified criteria. So let's just say, for example, you have a sales rep that just handles Texas, or you have someone that just handles California, for example. You can have a criteria set up so that whenever a new lead comes in from California, it goes to that specific sales rep. Maybe you define it some other type of way, maybe by product. Each sales rep works on a specific product. You could also set it up that way. There's different ways to actually create that automation process. These auto assignment rules work on two different processes in the CRM. A web form that you can build from the CRM and paste onto your website so that someone can enter the contact form, and also on a spreadsheet import. So you have both of those options to create auto assignment rules from. You can either assign it to a specific user, so California goes to salesperson A, Texas goes to salesperson B, or you can assign it to a group of people too in round robin, so it distributes evenly. So if I have 5 reps who handle California, it can go evenly to each and every one of them. So you have that type of option. So let's go into the CRM and see how it works. When I'm logged into the CRM, I can jump into the setup menu right here and go into automation. From the automation section, these are the 4 tabs that you're going to see at the top when going into the automation menu. So you have workflows, which we'll go into specifically a little later on, case escalation and approval processes as well. So let's jump into assignment rules. Now you can actually create an assignment rule on 3 different modules in the CRM: leads, contacts, or cases, and also any custom modules that you create too. So if you create another custom tab for maybe partners or vendors or anything like that, you can also define a assignment rule based on a custom module too. So let's do leads in this example. And maybe I want to create an assignment rule by region. So I'll just put that in real quick. Leads by region. And click Save. So whenever I do that, I can create specific rule entries in my system. So I know that there's different examples here. So create rule entry 1 and what the criteria is. So I can say lead state is Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. So whenever that happens, whenever a new lead comes in, if it's in Texas, Louisiana, or Oklahoma, then what happens? I can assign it to a specific person, either from my existing system of people, or I can assign it to everyone in my system evenly based on the users that I pick, or a specific role as well. So either I can select actual users, like let's just grab Matt and Tanner, for example, and add them in here. So whenever these new leads come in from these 3 states, it's going to be distributed evenly between these 2 people. I could also define it by roles too. So I can easily just select sales executives instead of anyone else, so they're going to be distributed evenly. Or I can go in and select a specific user too. So I have both options here. You can also automatically create a follow-up task to happen right when that lead is assigned to someone, right? So if you have a follow-up task to be assigned 3 days after the lead is created, you can actually bring in a workflow task and paste it into this section. And we're going to go over specifically about workflows in the next section. So I'm going to uncheck this. Users, Tanner and Matt, there we go. There you go. So now whenever a new lead comes in from Texas, Louisiana, or Oklahoma, it's going to be distributed to Matt and Tanner in my system. All right. So just to recap, these lead assignment rules that you bring into your system work with imports from a spreadsheet and the contact form on your website. Who here has actually seen the website integration section under Zoho CRM? All right, cool. I'll just refer to it real quick. So under setup, you can go to website integration right over here and actually create a web form to paste onto your website. So going into either leads, contacts, cases, or any custom modules, you could do it the same way. And basically, you can take any specific field that's in the lead or contact form, put it onto the website, and then copy and paste it onto your website itself so that anyone can enter that information. From that step, you can create an assignment rule so that it's automatically assigned to a specific person with the follow-up task and everything like that. All right. So now that we've gone over auto assignment rules, let's go on to the next step, which is building specific workflow rules. Again, we're going to use the same phrase here of if this, then that. It's going to be the most important thing when building workflow rules. So let's develop in a scenario real quick. Let's just say that a new lead came into my car dealership, sales rep talked to them, and we grabbed some information from them, right? What do we want to do next after we grab their initial information? Maybe we want to send up a follow-up email to them saying, thank you for visiting. Here's some more information about what you're interested in. Maybe you want to remind the sales rep to follow up with them through a call or maybe a text message or something. You want to remind them to do that. You can also update the status of the lead automatically or the contact as well. So let's go into the system and show you how that works. I'll just go back to the home screen and click Setup, and then jump in specifically under Automation and Workflow Rules. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new rule. And in this scenario, I'll select leads and say first contact follow up. And you can also give a specific description to it so you know exactly what's going on in this workflow rule. I'll just leave it blank for now. And after you develop the basic information behind what this workflow is, you can set how exactly it's going to be executed or how it's exactly going to be triggered. So you have 2 types of scenarios here, a record action and a date field value. A date field value is an actual field that you have in the lead form or the contact form that has a date behind it, so you can trigger something to happen. So let's just say it's the lead or the contact's birthday, and you want to send them an email the day of their birthday that says, hey, happy birthday, don't forget about us, blah, blah, blah. So you could actually set a date field value, choose the specific date field that it is, and then send out that type of email or maybe a reminder or something. So in this example, we'll go over a record action. And the types of record actions that are available in Zoho CRM are whenever a new record is created, so a new lead or contact, or account potential and so on, whenever it's edited, or whenever you update a specific field or modification. So in this, we'll make the example on a field update, and we'll say that the lead status is the one that we want to go off of. All right? So once we select that lead status field for the rule trigger, we can set the criteria behind what it is. So this is where you go from lead status is something. So let's go into an example of lead status is, and we can select from a few options here. I'll just say pre-qualified. So this is someone who came into the door, they gave me some good information about what they want. They seem interested, but I'm not very, very sure yet that that they're going to move forward and everything. So I'll say pre-qualified. You can also set up additional criteria as well. This is not just a one-line type thing. You can drill down and make specific scenarios based on any type of circumstance. So not just lead status is pre-qualified, but maybe it's from Texas, or maybe it's in a different type of scenario. So you can drill down and develop specific criteria for each rule that you set up. So once I develop the criteria behind the rule, this is where I can trigger the actions to happen. So the first one is going to be sending alerts. From here, I can select and define an email that I want to send out to the customer. So I could say follow-up email. And then select a specific status. Maybe it's just checking in, seeing how they're doing. I can also create a template straight from this workflow too. It's actually going to pop up the email template section in Zoho CRM, give a specific name, what the subject and the reply to email is, and then the actual template body itself. A cool thing about the email template section is that you can actually pull details from the lead itself. So maybe you want to grab their first name. So I can actually copy and paste this merge field value into the email itself so that it's automatically going to push that email to the customer right when the workflow action takes place, right? This makes it a little bit more personal so that the customer knows, or that lead knows, that I'm actually checking up on them specifically and seeing how they're doing, even though we're actually not. So I'm just going to select this one specific email template, and then from here I can select the recipients behind it. So I can grab the email, the lead's email address. Maybe I want to notify the lead owner of the same circumstance that they might get copied on the email. Maybe I want to notify the lead manager, the lead owner's manager, I could also do that too. I could also define any other recipients as well. So any other email address that I want to define in here. So now that I save and associate, I have this email automatically triggered whenever that new lead is created, or whenever that new lead is updated to pre-qualified. From here, I can also assign a task to that lead owner too. So maybe I want to remind them to give a follow-up call. Let's just say 5 days after that lead has been updated. I could give a specific status to the lead, to the task itself, not started or any of the other ones that I define. And I can also give a specific priority to it too. This might be important for when you want to develop different task lists for each of your sales reps. So let's just say, for example, when a lead is pre-qualified and their estimated budget for the car that they want to purchase is above $40,000. It's going to be a higher priority than for someone who has a $20,000 budget, right? So you can define what the priority is behind that specific workflow rule. Now, you can either assign it to that lead owner who originally is handling it, or you could actually select any other person. So maybe it goes from the initial sales guy to someone else who might want to follow with them even more, maybe the manager, maybe someone who deals specifically with this clientele. You can definitely assign it that way. You can trigger a notification to that rep that they have a new task, and you can also set up reminders too. So maybe you want to remind them a day before the task is due to follow up with this person, give a specific time, and either by an email or a pop-up in the CRM, and give a description behind the task as well. The last thing you can do is update a specific field in the lead section. So from here, I can select a field to update from this section. If I ever modify or if I ever use this type of workflow rule in any other module, let's just say potentials, let's just say the potential closed and you want to update the contact status, you could also do it that way. So any specific module that it's related to, you could also update that field too. All right, so I'll just leave this blank for now. The other two types of workflows that we have available are webhooks and custom functions. Webhooks allow you to make calls to other applications or other softwares that might handle this data. You can also call custom functions to trigger any advanced actions to happen. So maybe creating tasks and sending emails are just a couple of things that you want to do, but you want to take it a step further. Maybe this isn't enough for you guys. Then you can actually build a custom function to do something additionally. We're going to go over how to build custom functions and make and call webhooks in our next presentation on advanced workflows. The last type of action that you can make is a time-based action. So maybe you want to develop another series of actions to happen a little later down the road. You could do that from a time-based action too. So let's just say that you want to have a second series of follow-ups made. Then you can trigger it, let's just say 30 days after the initial rule has been triggered. Now you have another series of things that you can actually do. So maybe you send an additional email that's saying, hey, just checking in again, seeing how everything is going, assign another task, and update the field again. So you have all these options within that specific workflow itself to make it a little bit more personalized and automated for that specific lead. So just to recap here, we went over how exactly a workflow is going to be triggered. So if a new lead comes in, if it's updated to a specific status, or if it's deleted or anything, you can trigger these things to happen: emails, tasks, and field updates. And then again, also webhooks and custom functions, which we're going to be going over in our advanced workflow automation. The last type of automation that we have in the CRM is an approval process. So let's just take another example here. Whenever the sales rep, talks to that customer that wanted to buy this new Lamborghini, for example, they want a specific discount. Maybe they want to negotiate the price a little bit, so they're haggling me. I want to take that information back and put it into my CRM as, hey, these guys want a discount. By doing that, I can actually automatically send that to the manager or someone else to go over and approve that record. So, and make sure that it's something legit and I'm okay with it. This allows me to see all the visibility in my system and make checks and balances between whenever a sales rep is finishing something or maybe sending out a quote and I want to go over it. I can approve everything before it actually happens and initiate it. Whenever that approval takes place or if I reject it, I can also initiate other actions to happen too. So right when I approve it, I want to update the field. Maybe I want to send another email. I could do all that stuff that I just built out in my workflow section into the approval itself. So let's go into how it works. So from the automation section, you can click approval process, and let's add a new approval. So let's go into the potential section here and say product and discount. And I can either execute this the same way that I did in the workflow, whether a record is created or it's edited. So I'll say record edit as well, and click add rule to the process. Now I can give a specific criteria like I did before. So I'll say discount percentage. This is a custom field that I created in my potentials module. So I could say discount percentage is above 5%, or maybe I could say it's not empty. Anything that I want, I can actually set it up that way. So I'll say is not empty, so I have the approval for any discount that takes place in my CRM. Then from here, I can select who is the one to approve it. I could select a specific user like myself, or maybe I want the sales manager to be the one to approve it and not anyone else. I could also select other levels like first or second level, like who is above that specific person and so on, and also groups as well. So in this example, I'll just take myself. And then from here, I can trigger actions on either approvals or rejections. The same way that I did it in my workflow rule that I created, I could also do the same thing here. Assign a new task, update a field, or send an email to someone, and also webhooks and custom functions. You could also trigger an action whenever you say, nah, this is not a good lead, I want to take this out. So maybe you want to send the lead owner, the contact owner that, hey, this isn't a good lead, you should focus on something else. Or maybe update the status of the contact from qualified to junk lead or something like that. So you have all these different types of variations and automation to approve that specific section. All right. So just to recap on approvals, we mentioned that whenever something is initiated, that we can actually see what's going on and see a high level of all the information for that specific approval, right? When I jump into my approvals tab over here, I can see all these different approvals that are waiting for me that I need to check up on. So I could see that Bruce Wayne is looking for a Ferrari, and it's a specific product discount that Ricky was talking about. So from here, I can approve it, take a look at it, and see more details about it, that it's a 10% discount. I can delegate it to someone else to take care of it and look it over instead of myself, or I could go in and reject it. And based on any of the ones that I have, I can have that email sent out to Ricky or to the customer that their product discount has been approved. Okay. So that's approval so far. The last type of automation within the CRM is going to be the macro section. So in any scenario that we've explained so far, we have these different steps taking place whenever a action is being made or something's being triggered, but that might not be the circumstance every time, right? Maybe you want a certain series of actions to happen when you contact a whole list of your leads. Maybe you have 50 leads in your system and you give them all a call and you want to update the status real quick. You can do that straight from a macro. So let's go and show you how that works. You can execute these macros in 3 different ways, actually. You can send emails directly to people, you can create a follow-up task for something later on, or update a specific field for that person, similarly to a workflow. And it's as easy as just clicking a button. So let's just go into my lead section and select Run Macro. Here's one that I've already created, so I'll manage the one that I've already taken a look at. Here's just a couple of things that I already drafted up. I said I want to send out a template. I want to change the status of the lead from contacted to second follow-up. And then I also executed a task for myself so that I know to follow up with them 3 days down the road. So right from that section, I just click that button and it automatically changes the status of all of those people. So click that and select second follow-up. It allows me to run that information straight from the CRM without having to do anything else. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover for the automation section.